Here we are outside of Empower Field at Mile High. It's orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason. Bo Nix's debut to a lot of the national audience happens tonight.
Yep, and I'm sure most people have gotten a glimpse. You know, there was the Thursday night game, of course, against New Orleans back in October, and then a lot of people saw the Kansas City game in November, but this is Bo Nix peaking. This is Bo Nix having thrust his way squarely into the Rookie of the Year conversation. Tonight offers a prime chance against a defense with some star power.
Yes.
To really make an impression and not just get a win for the Broncos, but also take a step forward in that Rookie of the Year race, which I think is getting pretty tight now between him, Jaden Daniels, and as we've talked about, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers putting together a hell of a rookie season, and then Jaden with that big game. Bo with the big game tonight, but Cleveland's defense, as you mentioned, star power at all three levels, specifically the pass rusher and the cornerback position. So a little tougher matchup for Bo than some people think.
And even beyond the star power, there's a guy who has a specific superpower that can cause some problems, especially with what we've seen in recent weeks. We've seen Bo Nix get some passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
And who are you staring across the line of scrimmage from but old friend Shelby Harris, who is still doing an exceptional job of following the Bill Kolar principles of if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up and knock down that pass and be an obstruction. So it's a Cleveland defense that's not only strong in terms of names like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, but you go down the roster and there are guys who very specifically fit in some roles, although they got some injury absences tonight. For example, Juan Thornhill not playing in this game.
Right, and if you talk about those tip passes, tips and overthrows, you got to get those. So those can turn into turnovers. Play a clean game. Bo's done that. Not a lot of sacks on this kid, not a lot of picks for this kid either.
Yeah, well, ever since the 4 interceptions in the first 2 games, only 2 interceptions since then. And
wow.
Over the course of the year, I saw something today pointing out that, last year Russell Wilson had 10 fumbles, Bo Nix only has 1 fumble. That, too, is part of the equation of Bo Nix being reliable, is that when he is hit, he generally does not lose the football, or at least doesn't lose it at a very high rate. I want to guard against the old announcer's jinx.
Yes.
So the ball does come out on occasion, but it's not coming out at the same rate it came out from, for example, last year, Russell Wilson. And of course, we've talked quite a bit about how the sack rate is down as well. And I think that leads to fewer risks of fumbles for Bo Nix. And so that's where it starts. For Bo Nix, this rise up into the consciousness of the NFL over the last few weeks, it started with putting the big mistakes behind him. The old cliche, you have to learn how not to lose before you learn how to win. I think Bo Nix, in his progression, those last couple of weeks in September against Tampa Bay and then the Jets and into October were about him figuring out how not to lose. And what we've seen in recent weeks, look at that Atlanta game, you look at some of the throws against the Raiders as well, and the drive that should have been the game winner in Kansas City is Bo Nix learning how to win, which is building off the foundation of learning how not to lose.
Well, somebody on Twitter had a compilation of all of his touchdowns, and what you see from early on till now is he's playing with a slower heartbeat. Like, he's so calm out there. Other than maybe the Ravens game where he was, kind of excited to play against Lamar Jackson, we haven't seen Bo play with nerves. I don't think we'll see him play with nerves, even though it is Monday night.
Yeah, the Ravens game, I think the entire team played with nerves. I don't want to put that solely on Bo Nix, and I think that's also a game where, as I talk with a few guys in the days following it, hey, Way leads on to Way. You get one of those 4th downs early, maybe the 4th down run that Javonte Williams had. If it doesn't get overturned by replay, maybe you're talking about having a different set of circumstances for that game.
Well, who helps Bo tonight? We do know there is no Josh Reynolds tonight. So, are we seeing more Vele? I've called for more Marvin Mims, even than we've seen to this point. A dash of Troy Franklin. Bo's got some options.
Yeah. It's with Reynolds, we'll find out more as we head to Wednesday. That's the deadline on him coming off of injured reserve. I think this might be a Marvin Mims game as far as him coming out of the backfield. If there's one thing that you can do to discombobulate Cleveland's pass rush, especially off the edge, get the screen game going, get the backs out of the backfield. It's the oldest trick in the book against a team with a strong pass rush is you get the screen game going. I think if I'm the Broncos, I'm setting screen opportunities up for Marvin Mims to take some of the spice off that pass rush, especially off the edge, and continue giving him more opportunities, because we're seeing the confidence grow as he gets accustomed to seeing the field from the backfield. The vision is different.
Yes.
The get off is different. Everything about the job is different, except what you're trying to accomplish in the end, which is make some dynamic plays. But he's shown such promise there. I want to see more of that. And also, we talked about Denzel Ward. If they put Denzel Ward on Courtland Sutton, if he travels with him, then that sets up Devon Vele. And I think Vele will have some opportunities in this game. And you talked about some opportunities for the tight ends down the seam as well.
Yeah, if you look at where Cleveland is weak, front seven, very strong in the front four. Linebackers you can attack. So attack there, maybe with an Adam Troutman. I don't want to get crazy, like a catch or two. Could we please see that? And then who's going to run the ball? Will we see a running back emerge tonight, Mace?
Well, first of all, with Troutman, we've seen it against Carolina when the opportunities are there. He can make some plays.
Oh,
Carolina, he had an explosive in Kansas City a couple of weeks later. So it's not like he lacks the ability when given the chance to turn something short into something long. So I'd start there. As for the running back position, look, Sean talked about it last Monday. I asked him about Devon Vele, and he got to Devon Vele and saying he wants to get him more touches. But then he also answered the question saying the same thing about Audric Estime, that he had Audric on his brain at that moment. And he keeps talking about get Audric Estime the ball more often. There are a couple of reasons behind this. Number one, you've got to find out. I mean, sometimes you have to make a decision based on the long term here. As you go into the evaluation process this offseason, I think you want a good idea whether Audric could be an RB1 or not. The fewer items that are on your shopping list in the offseason, the better. So how do you get the information on Audric? You got to give him the ball.
Right.
That's number one. And number two, the power with which he runs, we're seeing on a more consistent basis than Javonte Williams that he's able to explode through the hole, take advantage of those gaps when they flash open. So multiple levels, I want to see more of Audric Estime. That being said, I think we're going to continue to see your favorite, I say that sarcastically, your favorite thing, which is a hot hand running back approach. The key is maybe make sure you get Audric hot early. Get him sizzling on what should be a nice, a little bit chilly night, but seasonably cool here at in the evening.
Well,
today it's beautiful today.
It is right now.
It's like 60 degrees out here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's too bad this isn't a day game, because this is perfect football weather right now.
It is. It's absolutely fantastic. We want to see more Audric Estime. Our viewers, our YouTube audience, Mace, hi YouTube.
Hello.
They want to hear us talk more defense. Like, we talk a lot of Bo, algorithm plus Bo's awesome. But this Broncos defense against Jameis Winston, he's going to throw you a couple tonight. If you're Levi Wallace, if you're Pat Surtain, be ready.
Well, this is also where the head coach, having coached Jameis Winston and really coaching him out of some of his habits from that infamous 30 for 30 season in 2019 when he had 30 interceptions for Tampa Bay. That's where you lean on the intel that you got from Sean Payton. But we saw it when the Browns took on the Steelers in Thursday Night Football a week and a half ago. He's going to give you some opportunities. Just not as many as Gardner Minshew is going to give you. Jameis is a better quarterback than Minshew at this point. I mean, Jameis to me is showing that he should be starting for somebody in 2025.
Yes.
And probably should be Cleveland. I think this is a team that the last 4 weeks they've gone 2-2. They had that one stinker against New Orleans, but they're 2-1 against teams that are currently in playoff spots since Jameis Winston became the starter. It's not a fluke. Yes, he's going to give you some opportunities for takeaways that the Broncos need to take advantage of, but he's also going to set his guys up to make plays, taking advantage of the fact that you can't solely focus on Judy. You've got to focus on Njoku down the seam as well. This is where the Broncos do have the edge in having Pat Surtain able to potentially travel with Jerry Jeudy, which leaves more of the rest of the defense in coverage to focus on Njoku, can cause you a lot of problems.
And Nick Benito welcomed Jameis Winston to the Mile High City by sacking him a couple of times at least, right?
You are counting You were counting probably beyond the realm of reality right there.
Sacks come in bunches. So give me 2. Give me 2
well,
for Nick Bonitto tonight.
But you were going like 3, 4, 5. I'm like, wait a minute.
Maybe as a team,
is
right?
this Khalil? Yeah, maybe as a team. Individually, I don't think this is Khalil Mack going against Michael Schofield. The Browns aren't that
some bad memories
hard
here.
up.
Yeah,
Respect to Michael Schofield, but that poor guy was left to hang out to dry 9 Decembers ago.
But Nick Bonitto showing that special talent. We want to see that. The coverage. We mentioned no Riley Moss here.
Yeah.
And watch out for Jerome Ford on a wheel route. I say it every week, Mace, but it's true every week.
It's true every week, and he brings a dynamic element that unfortunately for the Browns, since Nick Chubb came back in, they've been lacking out of the backfield because he hasn't been explosive. He's going to pop at some point. You hope he doesn't pop tonight, but he doesn't have a single run longer than 15 yards since he came back to the lineup from injury, and he's averaging right around 3 yards a carry since he came back. So that's where I don't think you do anything special, but you rely on the defensive line to keep doing what it's been doing. You get Zach Allen back. We saw last week what this run defense looks like without Zach Allen. It's a little scary, but he had the walking boot 8 days ago. He practiced all week, good to go. That's a huge bump for the Broncos as they try to get to this bye week, 8-5. By the way, Cease, Sean Payton's teams have won 7 consecutive games heading into bye weeks, and overall Sean Payton's teams in these pre-bye games are 13-3.
Okay.
Got to keep that up tonight.
Yeah, and we've been in that locker room. Nobody's thinking about Cabo. They're thinking about tonight.
Yep.
I'm thinking about getting this show posted to YouTube pretty soon, Mace, so we probably got to get out of here.
Probably got to get out of here. What is it? Bob Seger said we got tonight, right?
You're going to get me sing-songy again.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right. Well, how do people help us out on YouTube, Mace?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you never miss a vid.
It's always good when we do this in person.
Boom, boom, boom,
Yes.
boom, boom.
All right.
He's Andrew Mason. I'm Cecil Lammey. OBT's a BFD. Stay frosty.